and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, if your current car tax bill was a lot higher, some relief could be coming. Kentucky lawmakers have advanced a bill to change how car and truck taxes are determined. The higher bills came about in part because of supply chain issues. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more from Frankfort.
We've been telling you about supply chain issues for months, and that has now impacted how much money you pay on your car taxes. Newer cars are in short supply, meaning that used cars and older cars are worth more, and as a result, the car taxes have increased.
Many vehicles are being taxed at a higher rate than their vehicle is actually worth.
House Bill 6 aims to bring property tax bills down for vehicles. Since most used cars are costing more, the tax bills are also up. Legislation that sailed through the Appropriations and Revenue Committee Tuesday would require the PVAs to use the average trade-in value as a standard instead of the rough or clean trade-in value.
Is that we would basically, upon passage of this, hold everyone harmless against those increases of appraisals and the resulting increases of taxes.
This bill does have an emergency clause, meaning it'll take effect once the governor signs it. There's also a provision in it which would spell out refunds for those that have already paid their car taxes. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Now, it's not clear when people would receive those refunds, but the bill does say they should be made within 90 days of the bill's passage. Months after floodwaters devastated much of the Blackberry community of Pike County, officials are announcing an effort to assist. The U.S. Small Business Administration announced a disaster assistance loan program for people and businesses in Virginia that were hit by the August flooding, extending that now to impacted people in West Virginia and Kentucky. Qualifying business owners, homeowners, and renters in Pike County can apply now for the low-interest loans as part of an effort by the SBA to help them get back on their feet in a time of need.
To be able to tie on to that disaster and to be able to get some kind of help could be a huge help to those people.
Emergency Management Director Nee Jackson says the loans are specific to the Pike County homes hit in the August flood, which did not see individual FEMA assistance. Finding a safe place during a natural disaster could just be a text message away. The Federal Emergency Management Agency has launched an updated version of its text feature. Users just text the word shelter and their zip code to 43362. In return, they will receive a list of nearby shelters within 200 miles of that zip code. FEMA says users can click on the shelter address and receive directions. The agency suggests people save the number in their phone so they have it in the event of a future disaster.
Yet another afternoon with plenty of sunshine around the mountains. Absolutely gorgeous out there today. We had clouds yesterday, even fewer clouds out there today. Current view from UVA-wise, the camera out there, into the low 40s at the moment, and I don't see any clouds. I don't know if you do, but I certainly don't here at this hour. I-75 in London, similarly cloud-free. Beautiful sunshine around the region. That's brought those temperatures up. Many of us upper 40s to low 50s around the region this afternoon. A little bit cooler in the highest elevations. Wise 43, Pine Mountain 42, but everybody else really into the mid to upper 40s and even some low 50s around the region. We still have that clean sweep on Pinpoint Doppler, which is just what we like to see at this time. Keep that WYMT weather app handy, though, because you may need it before too long. We're going to see those temperatures drop, though, for tonight down into the 30s. We won't necessarily need it, at least the radar function, as we head into tonight. Tomorrow night, a slightly different story. I'll detail that coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Evan, thank you. February is American Heart Month, the time dedicated to promoting awareness and knowledge surrounding heart health across the country. A time with a bit of extra meaning in the Commonwealth, since Kentucky is one of the states where heart disease is the leading cause of death. Why is it such a big killer? One major factor, it can often go unnoticed since many of its symptoms are not obvious. That's why cardiologists say speaking with your doctor about risk factors could make a big difference.
Some very obvious causes are smoking, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, sedentary lifestyle. All of these are risk factors for advanced cardiac disease even at a premature age.
Dr. Burchett also says genetics plays a big role, warning if you have family members who suffer from high blood pressure or heart disease, you may be at an elevated risk, regardless of lifestyle choices. China has spared no expense taking COVID precautions inside the Olympic bubble, but some athletes, including U.S. competitors, are still testing positive. CBS's Tina Kraus reports from London.
Everywhere you look inside Beijing's tightly controlled Olympic bubble, it's clear keeping COVID out is the name of the game. Bartender Jack Zhang will drink to that. He serves up cocktails in a hazmat suit. He says it's a bit stuffy, but during the Olympics, we must face the difficulty and solve the problem. But even with mandatory masks and daily PCR tests, some athletes are still catching COVID.
I've already lost count of the number of times I've cried today.
Team USA figure skater Vincent Cho's positive test forced him to pull out of the individual event,
Double jumps.
ending the California athletes' quest for gold. Organizers say more than 30 athletes within the bubble are now in isolation after testing positive for the virus.
I can't make the pandemic go away for the duration of the games. The pandemic is real and the risk is real.
Medical experts expect COVID cases to start tapering off now that most competitors have arrived in Beijing. But for many who've tested positive, their Olympic dreams are already shattered. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
China did not sell tickets to the public because of concerns over the spread of COVID, but a selected number of spectators are being allowed to enter the bubble to watch some events if they follow strict measures to keep the virus out. A pub claiming to be the oldest in Britain is closing after more than 1,200 years, citing complications caused by COVID-19. Ye Old Fighting Cocks in St. Albans, just north of London, claims it's been open since the year 793. If that is true, it means the establishment survived the Black Death plague that ravaged Europe. The owner admits things were getting tough even before the pandemic, though. In fact, a quarter of the United Kingdom's pubs closed between 2008 and 2018 as people ditched them to drink in restaurants or at home. Back here in the U.S., the White House kicked off a day of action to call on all eligible Americans to file their taxes in order to receive the child tax credit. The monthly benefit has already expired, and now some lawmakers and family groups are demanding its renewal. It was part of last year's American Rescue Plan pandemic relief law, including 6 months of payments per child for those under age 17, something advocates for its continuation say made a major difference in many homes.
We absolutely need the child tax credit to continue so parents can go to work, so children can thrive, so people can earn living wages and move our country forward, and also address the rising costs.
Tuesday, a group of House and Senate Democrats said they want to pass an extension of the child tax credit with a simple majority using the process of reconciliation. That would require the support of all 50 Senate Democrats, and West Virginia's Joe Manchin has voiced opposition, saying it should include a work requirement. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Tuesday. The Dow closes up today more than 371 points. We'll have more financial news in our next half hour. But when we return here on First at 4, a modern medical marvel, as one new device could potentially help paralyzed people walk again.
And the sunshine continues around the mountains this afternoon and for much of the week. I'll have the details on whether temperatures look to cooperate as well coming up now.